Traditional masculinity is making you weaker, not stronger. You've been told your whole life, never show emotion, be the provider, stay tough, keep it all inside. Real men don't cry. Real men don't need anyone. Real men just handle it. And you've been following that blueprint, thinking it would make you respected, desired, successful. But here's what actually happened. You became emotionally unavailable. Your wife feels abandoned. Your kids don't trust you. Your nervous system is a ticking time bomb. And the harder you try to be masculine, the way that you were taught, the more your relationships fall apart. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how traditional masculine advice created insecure attachment in you and why it's destroying everything that you're trying to build. You'll understand the attachment science-backed framework that actually makes you a stronger man, a better leader, and someone that people want to follow. Because with real masculine strength, you can protect them. But without that masculine strength, you'll keep losing the people that you're trying to protect. Now tell me if this sounds familiar. You work your ass off. You provide. You do everything you were taught that a man is supposed to do. And somehow, your wife still says she feels alone. She says that you're emotionally unavailable. She says the kids are scared of you. And you're sitting there thinking, what more does she want from me? I'm doing everything I can. Or maybe you've been told that you're too cold, too distant, too shut down. People say that you never open up. You never share what you're feeling. You never let anyone in. And you don't understand what they're talking about because you're just being strong. You're handling it. You're not burdening anyone with your problems. But deep down, be honest, you know something's off. You can feel the distance growing. You see the way your partner looks at you, not with desire, but with exhaustion. You notice your kids don't come to you when they're struggling, and you're starting to realize that maybe the version of masculinity that you were taught isn't actually working. Here's the truth. Traditional masculine advice probably taught you avoidant attachment style, and it's costing you everything. Now, hello. Welcome to the channel. And if this is your first time here, I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I've spent over 16 years training and working with men who followed every traditional masculinity rule and watched their marriages collapse anyway. Men who provided, protected, stayed tough, and couldn't understand why their wives were leaving. I've helped hundreds of men shift from that silent, tense provider who's about to explode into an engaged, grounded leader whose family actually feels safe with him. This video is going to expose what traditional masculinity got wrong and give you the attachment science-backed framework that actually builds the strength, respect, and connection that you're looking for. Here's what you're about to learn. First, I'm breaking down the specific aspects of traditional masculinity advice that created insecure attachment in you. Never showing emotion, basing your worth on providing, bastardized stoicism that looked like strength but is actually emotional abandonment. Second, you'll discover the attachment science-backed framework for real masculinity, emotional responsibility, leadership through safety, bonding as a biological necessity, and why your calm nervous system is the greatest gift you can give. And third, I'm exposing the biggest misconception men have about masculinity, that it means emotional independence when it actually requires emotional leadership. Fourth, this one's good. You'll hear the client story of a man who shifted from silent provider, who was about to lose the love of his life, to engaged leader, and who watched his dead marriage come back to life. Finally, I'll give you the direct message you need about why attachment work isn't soft or feminine. It's the ultimate layer of masculine responsibility. Because weak men run from connection. Strong men lean into it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what real masculine strength looks like and how to start building it today. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing I have to tell you is that the advice you followed to become a strong man actually made you emotionally weak. It ruined the connections you were trying to build, right? First, what is traditional masculinity? Well, this is about the last 100 years, okay? When I talk about traditional masculine advice, I'm not talking about ancient Greece. I'm not talking about through human history. I'm talking about the last 100 years of survival-focused trauma, okay? The traditional masculine advice we've been following since our families were struggling to death. The last 100 years has been deeply unkind to the human race, and especially in the Western world, where we've learned to just buckle down and survive by blocking off our emotions. This is why one key element of traditional masculinity that is now being unveiled as not traditional is to never show your emotion. The concept that men can never ever share their emotions is actually fairly new. Throughout most of human history, it was encouraged to share emotion. In fact, it was understood that men had a depth of emotion to us. If you look at Shakespeare and the expression of male emotion, if you look throughout all of human history and men embracing their emotions, you also see a history of men disciplining their emotions. To understand and embrace it, to then discipline it and not let it control you. In the last 100 years, we've learned something instead called dissociation. Real men don't feel their feelings, is the new slogan. If you never feel your feelings or share your emotions, it trains you into what's called an avoidant attachment style. Bottling up your emotions, closing off information about how you feel. Emotions are designed to tell you when you're in pain. If your life is chronic pain, you dissociate so they won't distract you. But all that does is shut off the information you need. Now, even if prior to that you weren't fully avoidant, maybe you were a little bit avoidant, hearing that men are not allowed to feel at all or express emotions at all, that no one else will care about you, and that you are doing a disservice and harm to others by sharing, this makes you way more avoidant over time. Okay? What happens is that now your partner gets into a relationship with you expecting that you are able to sense your feelings and detect them and understand where you're in pain and then do something about it. And they see you blocking off the check engine light because you're tired of it flashing in your eyes. So you've blocked it. And you won't share the information about how you feel. And she begins, your partner, to wonder what's going on in there. Now, what this creates is a system where your partner feels emotionally abandoned, shut out, told that they're not worthy of trust, okay? Most men are just trying to be good men. Many of them are saying, I don't want to bother you with this pain. But instead, what they're doing is making people feel emotionally abandoned, emotionally starved, unworthy of their time, and frankly, afraid of you. Because if you close off the signals coming in from inside, how are you going to know when the explosion's coming? I get asked all the time, what is my attachment style? What is my attachment style? What is my attachment style? So I have finally launched the attachment assessment. This is not a short quiz that just spits out an answer after 3 seconds. This is a thorough, in-depth, science-backed assessment. Check it out on my website, adamlanesmith.com, and learn your attachment style, the severity of what you're dealing with, and some next steps you can take right now to build very secure attachment. Now, if that first message that real men dissociate from everything makes avoidant attachment worse, let's talk about the thing that makes anxious attachment worse, which is this: your worth as a man is entirely in what you provide. Society has taught men that their only sole value in existing is to provide for others, especially financially. This creates a system where those men only provide levels 1 and 2 of safety, physical safety and resource safety. Most of these men have never been taught that levels 3 of safety, emotional safety, and level 4 bonding safety even exists. Because again, the last 120 years in our society, we haven't given emotional safety to our children. Parents are just barely scraping by and surviving. So men hyperfixate into levels 1 and 2. I will physically protect and resource provide for you. You will be safe, levels 1 and 2. That's all there is. I'll be great. The detail that's missing here, of course, is that men don't understand emotional safety, level 3, or bonding safety, level 4. If you're anxiously attached, this gets worse. You look at providing as your sole means of being a man. You will fear failure. You will overwork to earn love. You will believe you are only loved for providing. Everything will feel like a transaction, and then every relationship feels doomed. Listen, this is a death trap. If you teach young men their only worth is in providing, they develop anxious attachment behaviors around never being enough. If they also have avoidant attachment style and you teach them that dissociation is good, to be a good man, you must dissociate from every emotion you ever have, and you must solely focus on providing cash for your family. That is your entire existence as a man. If you train this, you build broken attachment, even if it was relatively healthy to begin with. And if it wasn't, then you train these features into those men. Now, there are a lot of circles beginning to talk about masculinity here today, and many of them look back into ancient Greece and say, okay, the last 100 years are messed up. What was Greece doing? And they pull what we call Stoicism, especially Marcus Aurelius. They pull Stoicism, but misinterpret it. This is what we call bastardized Stoicism, which is emotional abandonment of self. Real Stoicism is wonderful. You must feel your feelings. You must understand what they mean. You must respond to them because they are useful data. You must discipline yourself and your nervous system to feel without collapsing, and then to do something useful with that data. That's what Stoicism says. But online masculinity circles have twisted that to say, never talk about your feelings. Back to that first loop. Okay? Never talk about your emotions. Having emotions is itself a weakness. If you feel anything, you are a failure. Continue dissociating until you feel nothing. This creates such an emotional self-abandonment and emotional absence that you are now poisoned for the future. You are going to die at some point, an early death, because of what you're now bottling up. Your partner will experience you as cold, uninterested, detached, unreliable, dangerous. She will feel emotionally abandoned. You will think you're being a good man. The gap widens between the two. Now, this is what traditional masculinity has got wrong so far. Give me a comment. Let me know, guys, if this is what you've grown up with. If that trap has felt overwhelming. I am only worth what I provide financially, and I'm never allowed to have even a slight feeling or emotion, or share a feeling or emotion with anyone, or they will abandon me and judge me. That's traditional masculinity over the last 100 years, okay? Now I'm going to give you the attachment-backed framework that actually works. What I want you to understand first is that real masculine strength is not about shutting down. It's about providing emotional leadership. First, you have to understand that strength includes emotional responsibility. That means that you feel your emotions, you regulate them, you communicate about them, you move through them. What are emotions? They are sensory data. Something feels off to me. Something hurts. Something is making me angry. Something is making me sad. Something is making me feel an experience. You don't shut off your ability to feel physical pain and say, I wonder why I got so hurt today. You feel these things to give you sensory data to then do something about your environment. You have to actually feel your emotions, not numb them. Otherwise, that data is coming in and you're not reacting to it, and you will eventually destroy something you care about or have a heart attack, cancer, stroke, something like that. Usually about 10 to 15 years earlier. You'll lose a lot of time off your life and lose quality of life in the meantime. One example of emotional responsibility is being able to listen to your partner's emotions without taking offense or shutting down. That's what you're saying. That's what you're hearing. That's what you're feeling. Tell me more. You feel frustrated at me lately. Talk to me about that. What's going on? Let's find a way to solve that. This allows and opens the door for authentic problem solving. Emotional responsibility allows you to stay grounded while others are feeling intensely. Would you like to be the most reliable man in the room? If you're shutting down and dissociating from your feelings, guess what? You're still having them, but now they're moving under the surface where you can't do anything about them, and they're going to erupt at the worst time possible and make other people not trust you. Which leads to point number 2, leadership means building safety for others, not domineering over them. Leadership is not controlling other people. It's about inviting people in, building safety for them, providing direction they want to follow. Okay? To be a leader, you must help them feel safe by inviting them in and helping them understand how the world works. No one is going to walk into your system if they think that you're covering up sensory data that says you're going to explode and ruin everything at the worst possible moment. Tracking your feelings makes you more reliable. Tracking their feelings and doing something productive about them also makes them feel safe. The third element here, and I need to talk about this, is providing is about more than just money. Okay? Let me get this out of the way. Yes, I do believe it is a man's job to provide resources in a relationship. I know that women can do this as well, but men, it is our job to provide resources, especially especially resources during times of hardship. Plenty of my clients, it's a woman with more money than the man, and he can still be overwhelmingly masculine if during times of hardship, he has the answer. He gets up and goes and does something about it. He gets up and pulls in a resource, a person, somebody to solve problems. When the time has come and the chips are down, does he get off his butt and provide so she doesn't have to go fight to figure it out? That's providing. Yes, money is there. Money's level 2. That's resource safety. Physical safety, yes, is level 1. Emotional safety is level 3. And this is where most men are falling short because they've never felt it before. Emotional safety. To make others feel safe calms their nervous system and allows the best version of them to come out so that they can then grow in the rest of their life. I've heard it said before that leadership is about helping others bring out the best version of themselves. Emotional safety does that. Bonding safety helps them understand that they are special and unique to you, so you're not going to go poof and dissolve all other 3 levels of safety. They can rely on you and then grow because of you. Level 4. You're not a complete provider if you're only doing the first 2 levels. Now that brings us to truth here, number 4, that bonding itself is mandatory, not optional. Bonding with others appropriately, you have to bond with them and allow them to bond with you. This is a natural hormonal experience through oxytocin and vasopressin, connecting and building as humans. If you don't send that message, what they learn is that no matter what you provide, it can dissolve at a moment like that based on your feelings, which you are blocking out, by the way. And now they can never be safe. They can never relax. Everything comes down to how you feel about them at that moment, but you won't tell them that either. So they have to always be afraid. When you are correctly, properly bonded to people and allow them to bond correctly to you, they can rest in you and start building with you. And that is really providing. Which brings us to point number 5. Your calm nervous system is the greatest gift you can give. When your nervous system is calm and regulated, other people can enter your presence and experience that calm. You being calm and steady allows others to enter your presence and be steady too. It's called co-regulation. This can only happen, by the way, when you're securely attached and peacefully connected. They walk in to your system, they calm down. I want you to imagine this. You're a CEO at a company. Somebody knocks on your door. They open the door. It's one of your other executives who works under you. And they walk in and they're visibly upset and scared and worried. And they come in and say, "Can I have 5 minutes? There's such a problem." Right? How does a good CEO respond? Calm, regulated. "Hey, not a problem. Come on in. I got 5 minutes. Take a seat. Go ahead, sit down. Tell me what's going on. Let's find a solution to it together." Calm, regulated, attentive, emotionally responsible. They talk. Okay. You listen. You ask a few questions. You say, "Okay, I can see this is really upsetting you. Actually, as I'm hearing about it, it's kind of making me a little worried. I can understand how you're feeling this way, but I think we've got a solution. How does this sound to you?" And you pitch a solution to them and you talk them through it. And as you do this, you're not just solving a problem. You're teaching them that they feel they are cared for. You're teaching them that they're safe. You're calming them enough to now be productive. By the end of it, they go, "Oh, thank you. I feel so much better. I'm sorry I was so worried. But you know what? Not a problem. I appreciate that you cared enough to get that worried. I'm also glad you feel better now. Why don't you go ahead and head back? We will reconnect tomorrow and we'll follow up on this and we'll start implementing that plan." Great. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. That's a proper CEO. That is true masculinity. You allow yourself to have your emotions and your experiences so that they can relate to you as a human. You also show them that you're not so scared that you're losing control. You manage their emotions with them. You walk them through it. You de-escalate them. You build a solution then together and you send them back. Right? And they are happy and smiling and they feel cared for. This is a CEO providing all 4 levels of safety. Are you doing this in the home? Odds are good you're not. If you're like most men today. Most men don't know how to do that in the home. I'll say it again. You can only really do this in the home when you're securely attached and peacefully connected. Understanding that you're responsible for your own emotions and that you're responsible for creating safety for others is the beginning of true masculinity. I know that a lot of the people watching this show right now have had attachment issues for their entire life. That's why I want to invite every single one of you to check out my attachment repair program. It just might be the jump that you need to go from insecurely attached and lonely and frustrated to fully secure, connected, and bonded in a great relationship like nothing you've ever felt before. Check out my website, adamlanesmith.com, for the attachment repair program. So that's what secure masculinity looks like versus the traditional modern masculinity. But what is the biggest misconception that's keeping men from getting there? Well, it's this. The lie you've been told about masculine emotional independence is destroying your life. We've been taught that masculinity means full emotional independence. And when I say that, you probably aren't resonating with it at first. Well, Adam, what do you mean emotionally independent? Am I supposed to be dependent on someone? There's the problem. You think there's two solutions here. There's not. Masculinity doesn't mean full, complete emotional dependence from every other human being on the planet. Okay? Your emotions are not completely regulated. Instead, you're closing down, barely feeling them, shutting them out until they explode in your face or blow up at the people you love. The lie here is that you're not influenced by anyone, that you don't talk to anyone about them, you don't regulate with anyone. That's not how humans work. Your emotions are not meant to be isolated, alone, in a box, hidden somewhere in a closet or in a shallow grave out back. Your emotions are meant to be co-regulated together with other humans. That doesn't mean you collapse into your responsibility to discipline them. It means that you learn to regulate your emotions with the inclusion of other people like an adult. Once again here, true masculinity is about emotional leadership. Emotional leadership means you guide the connection. First, you have to be aware of your emotions. You have to understand them, and you have to move through them calmly. That creates safety. Other people are safe to have emotions with you in your presence, and they're safe from your emotions, which are clearly displayed, disciplined, and resolved. You can work through those emotional challenges instead of avoiding them. Emotional independence is actually a weakness and a liability. Weak men will run away from connection because they're fear-based. They abandon responsibility, they abandon themselves. They're trying to protect, but it's not going to work. This is true whether you're anxiously attached, avoidantly attached, disorganized. All of those are rooted in fear. Actual strength looks like this. Strong masculine men handling connection and emotions and responsibility for their emotions, their own emotions and other people's emotions. Okay? Here's the best way to demonstrate that. I had a client recently who came in and talked to me and said, Adam, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do with my emotions. Am I supposed to, as the CEO, when they knock on my door and they come in and say, there's a problem, I go, oh no, not that. No, you're not supposed to do that. But you are supposed to name your emotions out loud and then choose to work through them. If you have a child and they're frustrating you, you might actually say, kid, I got to tell you right now, this situation is getting me frustrated. It's because the same thing keeps happening. I'm just letting you know that I'm getting frustrated. And, not but, and I love you dearly. And I want us to find a way through this. Can we do that together? Here's what we can do next. You need to give sensory data that you're frustrated so that they understand where they're standing with you. This is not you saying, you've made me angry, the way so many parents do. This is you saying, look, the situation is frustrating me, so we need to get through this pretty quick. We need to take it seriously. You can even say that out loud. This is getting pretty frustrating, I'll be honest with you, the situation. So we need to get through this quickly so you and I can get back to a good place. Great. You know, I got to be honest, this has made me really, really sad. It's made me sad because I know you're capable of so much more than this. I know that you are. And it's made me sad to see you at this level when I know you can be up here. I'd love to help you get there. Are you willing to take some steps? This is correctly using your emotions, men. This is you correctly co-regulating with other people, by the way. I'm having an internal negative experience. I'd like us to correct that together. When you do this, you name your feelings clearly, people can start to trust you because they know where they stand with you. And then you resolve it and say, thank you. This resolves everything. I'm feeling better. Are you feeling better? You can use your positive emotions too. That sensory data is crucial to them so they know they're safe. You're also teaching them to, when they knock on your door, come and say, hey, boss, there's something that's really making me very nervous. I'd like to resolve it with you so I can feel at peace, to be honest. Can we do that? You're teaching them to be quicker and clearer about their emotions. You're teaching them to be more solution-focused about their emotions too. Doesn't that sound better than blocking it all out and dissociating from it so that you erupt at your family and they're terrified of you all the time? Let me show you what happens when a man stops just providing at levels 1 and 2, stops following traditional masculine advice, and starts actually leading from secure attachment. I had a client who came in. He thought his job was just to make money, to stay tough, to protect, and to provide. And I'll be honest with you, he was incredible at it. He was great. He was crushing it at work. His salary and his earnings were off the chart. I can't even tell you. It was massive. Like, the guy had everything coming in. On the surface, he was doing everything right. But he came to me because his wife was ready to divorce him. She said that she felt invisible, disconnected, undesired, unloved, meaning low emotional safety and low bonding safety. She felt like their kids had no emotional safety either, and he had to agree. He said, I don't really have a connection with my kids. I just provide for them. I'm hoping that they'll be okay and they'll have a good life, but I don't know what to say to them. She was looking at divorce. She didn't want to. I'll be clear. She didn't want to, but she saw it as the only way to get through to him, to make him take it seriously about emotions. Now, the key shift in his head was this. He walked in and said, Adam, if I'm going to fail anyway, I'd better see if there's anything else I can do. So I'm here for you. You tell me if there's anything I'm missing. He was ready to bite the bullet and make the change. Because of that, I showed him how to begin expressing sadness, hurt, disappointment, stress, loneliness, instead of numbing it, but how to discipline them to convey them correctly. He thought it would ruin his wife's life if he told her that he was having emotions. He also learned to ask her more questions, to sit with her in her emotions, instead of running ahead to fix them and shut her up, because he thought he had to fix everything and make her feel good all the time immediately, and that if she had negative feelings, he was failing. What he was doing is not allowing either of them or their children to have emotions at all. As he started talking with her, he shifted from a silent, tense, stress man in the home, a tense provider, but a man just full of stress about to explode, to an engaged leader. He started sharing his emotions and saying, I'm stressed pretty much every day, and I don't want to bring that home to you. It makes me sad to see you stressed out, and I don't want to do that to you. But if you need to hear about my day, then I want to share it with you. I just want you to know, if it gets too much, I can stop sharing. He'd share the things that disappointed him at work. He'd share the challenges he was experiencing. He'd share his frustrations. He'd even share his frustrations about their marriage. The points of our marriage that frustrate me are A, B, and C. I'm not mad at you, but the system is just so frustrating and confusing to me. As he could begin to express that, she started seeing him as a human being. And then she could say, well, what would have to happen for you to not be disappointed or frustrated anymore? Well, this would have to shift, this would have to shift, this would have to shift. They could start tracking variables. She knew what he was feeling and could start solving problems with him. Now, as this shift happened, he went from feeling disengaged, locked down, and stressed to actually feeling less stress in the home. He didn't have to mask. He didn't have to pretend. He didn't have to just fake it. Guys out there, do you feel like you're doing that every day? Right? Give me a yes in the comments. He stopped faking it, and his wife responded with incredible warmth, intimacy, and openness. This was what she had always wanted from him, which he refused to provide because he thought he was protecting her from stress. Instead, he was starving her of love. This, by the way, rekindled their sexual connection. She finally felt safe and attracted. She got level 3 emotional safety and level 4 bonding safety. Everything suddenly worked again. Their marriage revived, not just improved, revived from the dead. They were on the edge of divorce, and they came back in 4 months. Okay? He was bonded, not just providing. He was thriving, not just surviving. So if you're sitting there thinking, this sounds, Adam, I hear what you're saying, but this sounds soft. Sounds kind of weak. I don't know about that. I hear that. And I hear that. I hear the programming there, right? Let me be clear about something with you. Tell me, how long have you been following traditional masculine blueprints? How many years have you been staying tough, shutting down, never sharing what you're feeling, thinking that that's what makes you a man? How's that working for you? If you're honest, you'll admit that your relationships aren't what you want them to be. Your wife doesn't feel safe and connected with you. Your kids don't open up to you. You're exhausted from carrying everything alone. And you're probably starting to realize that maybe you've been using the wrong map this entire time. But what map is the right one? Where do I go? What do I do? That's exactly what private coaching is designed for. We don't just talk about attachment theory. We rewire your nervous system from the ground up. You'll learn how to lead through emotional safety, not just provision. You'll discover how to build the bonding that your family is so desperate for. And you'll finally become the man people want to follow instead of the man they're scared of. You can book a call with my team at the link below. They're certified relationship strategists who will assess your situation and build a personalized plan for your transformation. Because real masculine strength isn't about shutting down, it's about showing up. Now let's talk about why attachment work is the most masculine thing that you can do. It is the ultimate masculine responsibility, in fact. If you think attachment work is soft, you don't understand what masculine relationship responsibility actually means. Attachment work here, becoming securely attached and providing all 4 levels of safety, is the ultimate layer of masculine responsibility. Doing your attachment work and becoming capable of secure attachment means taking responsibility for your nervous system, managing it, turning it into your best tool for leadership, to then connect it to other human beings peacefully and completely, to calm them, to make them feel safe. This allows other people to trust your nervous system and regulate with you. Co-regulation is a basic human function, and it's one of the highest callings of leadership. You can become the foundation that everyone else builds from. Secure attachment creates an unshakable presence. The skill of being grounded, present, and unshaken in the face of emotional intensity. That includes your own intensity or other people's intensity. You stay calm either way. No matter who is intense and who is overwhelmed, you stay calm. You stay settled. You get the job done. Now, unfortunately, this is what dissociation does not do. Dissociation destroys this. Dissociation destroys your ability to connect and manage because all you're doing is numbing. All you're doing is shooting Novocaine into the body part that hurts and then continuing to use it. That's not managing what's going wrong and then doing better. What would happen in the gym if you experienced extreme, overwhelming agony while doing an exercise and said, who cares, shot Novocaine into that limb and kept doing it for 20 years? You're probably going to destroy that limb and not be able to use it again. Is that how you want to lead? Being able to lead under pressure. Being able to lead with emotional strength. Having the ability to create safety, even when everything else in the world is chaotic and dangerous. That's secure attachment. Now, men who don't have that have a breaking point. They have a breaking point. They run away from connection. They're more fear-based. They cover it up pretty well, but they're fear-based. And they abandon responsibility when it feels like they just can't make it work. Partly because they aren't able to work effectively with other human beings. They are their only resource. Let me be very clear with this, okay? I'm a father of 5 children. I got baby number 6 coming on the way. I have a wife. I have a team. I have a company. I have a lot of people looking to me for leadership. I'm not saying this to build myself up. This is pressure I carry. Now, this pressure is supposed to make me rise to the challenge. If a man wants a family, a marriage, and a legacy, it is his responsibility to understand emotions, his and others, and then manage them correctly. You lead people through connection. You don't just throw money at them and provide for them. That's not leadership. That's throwing money at someone. A social worker can do that. A father does more. Okay? Understanding your emotional self managing and disciplining your emotions, regulating your nervous system, doing the same for others. This is how you actually protect and provide beyond the physical. This is how you build leadership that pulls out the very best in other people. This is how you provide and protect in a way that builds generational strength, not generational trauma from just surviving one more generation. Okay? A man is not truly a man until he can manage his own emotions and help others do the same. And that requires secure connection, requires secure attachment. Secure masculinity is the opposite of the fake, artificial, modern masculinity that is eating so many men alive and destroying so many families. So now you know what real masculinity looks like. My question to you is, are you going to keep following the old blueprint blindly, or are you going to build something real that lasts? Now, let me be incredibly clear here, because this is not an attack on men. It's the opposite. If you've been following traditional masculinity advice your entire life, staying tough, never showing emotion, basing your worth on providing, you are not a bad man. You are probably a damn good one. You are doing what you were taught. You were trying to be strong. You were trying to serve others and even protect them from your emotions. But now after this video, you know the truth. The blueprint you followed created more insecure attachment. It made you emotionally unavailable and unstable. And it's been costing you the relationships that you're trying to protect. Now, you don't have to stay trapped in that pattern. You don't have to keep being the silent provider whose family feels abandoned. You don't have to choose between being strong and being connected. Real masculine strength is emotional leadership. It's taking responsibility for your nervous system and using it to create safety for others. And now that you know what that looks like, you can start building it today. Now, if you want personalized help making this shift, if you want someone who can guide you from emotionally shut down to emotionally grounded, that's exactly what private coaching is designed for. Private coaching gives you an elite, personalized path to secure attachment. You'll work one-on-one with me or one of my certified coaches. You'll get customized guidance for your unique situation, and you'll follow our proven 5-step repair system that eliminates insecure attachment patterns and teaches you how to lead through emotional safety. We will help you identify and let go of the patterns that are holding you back, like emotional shutdown and your avoidant patterns. We will teach you communication strategies that build respect and trust. And we give you the tools to create the family, marriage, and legacy you've been working toward. Imagine a family where people follow you because they respect you. Imagine a system where everybody feels safe in your presence and rests in you. And imagine a system that allows you to feel safe and rest too. All of that together. That's secure attachment. Now, whether you choose our 3-month or our 6-month program, you will get live guidance, a vibrant global community, and accountability that keeps you on track. This isn't just theory. This is deep, lasting transformation. So you can book a free strategy call at the link down below with my team. A certified relationship strategist from my team will review your specific situation, identify what's holding you back, and build a detailed plan for how private coaching can help you become the leader that your family needs. Because traditional masculinity made you weaker. Secure attachment, it will make you stronger. You now know the attachment science-backed alternative to traditional, not so traditional, modern masculinity. You know what the old blueprint got wrong. You know what real masculine strength looks like. And you know the old pattern won't work for you anymore. The only question left is, are you going to keep shutting down, or are you going to start showing up? Your family needs a leader, not just a provider. And you're closer to this than you think you are. This is your turning point. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. Drop me a line below and let me know, did this resonate with you? Did you grow up with this masculinity that taught you to shut down? And are you tired of it? I know I am.